Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Monday. Back at it. Thank you so much for being Up+Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. Appreciate you a lot. Fun show today, and what a big weekend with the pet gala. The big gala for the Woods Humane Society. Was overwhelmingly honored to be honored and given their achievement award. And here's a little bit of audio from that. Just incredible, unreal.
You don't live in San Luis Obispo County and not know Adam Montiel. That familiar sound you all know and love, but it has become a true voice for the animals at Woods. Every single week, he highlights our pets of the week to help overlooked dogs and cats find homes. His talent for connecting with our community and storytelling, both on air and in person, have guided thousands of people to adopt and to support Woods. And now his advocacy has grown into hands-on involvement as a host and an MC at our events. Adam, thank you for being a spokesperson for Pets in Need and for putting Woods in the ears and the hearts of this community. We are so very grateful.
Something that, you know, Dad would have just absolutely loved as well. There was another cool aspect of it. I got to sit at our table. Tom Kafuri, remember working with him. He does the morning show on K-Jug. And, when I so my radio history had me coming back to the Central Coast to do a morning show on K-Jug. At the time, it was with Chad Stevens and Tiffany Whitstrom. And then it was Tom Kafuri and I. And then later on, maybe about a year and change into that, they laid me off because they wanted a female. I've always had this fun connection with Tom. And I remember back in the day, we would joke how he was just not a dog guy. He just really wasn't. We would I had Allie at the time, and we would joke, Allie's like a human to me, and he would kind of give me a hard time. And so anyways, some changes in Tom's life and in Tom's heart had him wanting to look into a dog. I mean, he's been talking to Robin just as long as, I have been, right? I mean, week after week, they do the pet of the week on the radio station over there. And then all of a sudden he gets this heart for this dog, Max. And I remember he was our pet of the week a while back. Spent 271 days in a shelter. Max, just a sweet, sweet dog too. So something about Max really stole Tom's heart, and Max and Tom were there, and someone made a little short film about it. It's fantastic. And it just shows how his heart came around to the dog. There's a little audio. Here's Emily LaRue, who's the CEO of Woods Humane Society.
Max spent 271 days looking for his human. And this feels absolutely unreal for me to tell you, but can you guess how many guests we have here tonight? 270. Yes. 271 guests. I say that we keep that lucky number going, and we try and fundraise $271,000 tonight for all of the Maxes that are looking for their Toms. And now it's your chance.
So then everyone lifts up their paddle for $271 for Max. It was just so neat. And then, she makes that joke at the end. Wouldn't it be great if we earned or raised $271,000? And I don't have it on recording. Sure as shit. Unbelievable. I got chills thinking about it right now. We get to the end of the event. And this event, I gotta say, is so well run they got the numbers of the event by the end of the event. And they're ready to like say, hey, guess what we just raised in the last hour and a half, whatever it is, right? So that she gets up there and are you kidding me? She goes, you guys will not believe this. We raised $271,000. Like unbelievable. Everyone's just like, oh, crying and everyone's got chills. Like, no way. No way. There's just some magic about that event, that Woods Gala that they do every year. It was fantastic. So much fun. I've never been to that Cavalli Estate out in the Edna Valley on Greengate Road. That was a beautiful spot. Didn't even know about that place. And just the people there from, we talk to Robin every week, Catherine, of course, Emily LaRue, who's the CEO, and just a wonderful woman. The whole team there is just so great. So I can't thank Woods enough, not only for the two special souls that light up my life and Lady I Fancy's life every single day in this home. This home would not be the same without Georgie and Harvey, both from Woods, but just to an organization that I've talked to about as long as any other one. And with just a great heart, they do great, worthy work. And, we seem to think that like Woods is just an animal organization, but they teach us so much more about other things besides animals. They teach us about compassion. They teach us about second chances, right? And they teach us just about how your life can absolutely transform, whether it's Tom's life or I just told you about ours here. I mean, unbelievable the work that Woods does. And, I remember when Allie, my Labrador, 13 and a half, she passed away and Woods sent me a beautiful card. And then just when my dad passed away, I get a card last week in the mail and it's a condolence card about my dad from Woods, right? I mean, a handwritten card is just so special. So I thank Robin, I thank the team and everyone there at Woods for honoring the work that we do with Woods, which was just so not needed, but just so, what a blessing. Well, how sweet was that? And it came in such a perfect time to put a smile on our family's face here. So thank you so much to the Woods Humane Society, and what an event. Wow. All right. Today's show, Chef Anna Francese, got to get this right. She is Italian. I do not want to butcher this. Chef Anna Francese Gass. She's a TV chef, book author, incredible woman. She's back. We had her on the show. We had a lot of great feedback. That was one of our big shows when she was on about maybe a little over a year ago. And so she's celebrating the second season of her hit TV series, Instant Italian. But this conversation is going to go far beyond pasta, meatballs, and limoncello olive oil cake, right? What starts as a celebration of season 2 quickly turns into something much more human. She is just great conversation. A chat about family recipes, immigrant roots, the memories that we taste and remember, and why food as a way of keeping the people we love close, even after they're gone. If you've ever had a meal that transports you back into a moment or a person or a place, this chat is for you. Chef Anna Francese Gass is back. She is Up and Adam. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, a little headline here. This is kind of an interesting story out of Pismo. If you've ever, maybe you've been thinking about, speaking of food, heading to the beach with a shovel, a bucket, maybe dreams of some clam chowder for dinner tonight, you might want to pump those brakes. Officials are raising concerns about clamming conditions along parts of the Central Coast, including Pismo Beach, our clamming capital of the world, right? As clam populations continue to face challenges from environmental changes, habitat issues, and even some pressure from us Homo sapiens who don't seem to get it right. This is why we can't have nice things. For many locals, clamming isn't just a hobby, it's a tradition that goes back many generations here. Experts say some areas seeing fewer clams in years past, raising questions about the long-term health of the resource. That doesn't mean clamming is going away. If you remember, we saw some big numbers on the increase. It just means officials are encouraging people to follow those regulations. They got to be a certain size, right? I think 4 inches or something like that. And this really helps the population. It helps protect that population that remain, and it helps them thrive. Because as anyone who's ever dug a clam knows, there's already enough disappointment in spending 20 minutes only to find a rock. We don't need to add no more clams to the list. So make sure we keep those rules that they got, those regulations, keep them in check, and let's keep our clamming situation in a good spot. All right, before we get into our conversation with Chef, let me tell you about our friends at the Mountain Air in San Luis Obispo. They've been doing their thing for over 50 years. Yes, since 1975, you'll find them there on Marsh Street. They have helped generations of locals get outside and at all skill levels, hiking, camping, climbing, heading to the snow. What I love is these guys do it local. Josh and Lindsay Herring, they're an adorable, wonderfully loving couple. They got their family that they're raising right here, and you're going to see them in the store. You're going to see them and their employees making you feel good, making you feel seen when you walk in. You can't get lost in there. They're going to, and I don't mean that literally, I mean that figuratively. Like when you walk in there, it's like, hey, how you doing? What you looking for? Can I answer any questions? It's just real people. It's not transactional. And what I love about them is they're just so uber local. They don't just keep it local with who they serve, but they keep it local with the money that they earn. You know, here's them supporting local media, local new media, local advertising right here. So check out our friends at the Mountain Air. Go to themountainair.com. You can check them out on right there on Marsh Street. And then a couple doors down, their sister shop, The Switchback. Buy and sell used gear, theswitchback.com and themountainair.com.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, today's guest has a way of making cooking feel less intimidating, far more approachable, and maybe most importantly, more personal. That's what I love about Chef Anna Francese Gass. She's the host of the TV series Instant Italian, back for season 2. Congrats. She's built a career out of sharing the recipes, the stories, the traditions that connect us to the people we love. From her roots in Calabria to her cookbooks, television show, millions of online views, Anna really has a gift for reminding us that food isn't just what is on the plate. It's about memory, family, heritage, and now a single bite can transport you back to a moment in time. Chef, thank you so much for taking the time, for being Up and Adam. Good to have you back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, season 2. This is exciting. I think we first talked right when we were kind of busting open the doors on the show, and look where we are, season 2.
I know. I feel very grateful. I'm really excited to have a second season and just another opportunity, 12 episodes, lots more recipes to kind of get in front of people and show them how I cook and why I like it why I enjoy it so much. You know,
I feel like there's, like every family, especially in Italy, there's one recipe that really isn't a recipe. It's like a memory disguised as food. Your mother immigrated from Italy, and food became the nucleus of your home, Chef. What's the recipe that maybe you protect most fiercely? And not because it's the best thing you've ever eaten, but because losing it would almost feel like losing a piece of yourself, of your family.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. So that was actually the genesis of my first cookbook, Heirloom Kitchen, was I realized I didn't have any of my mom's recipes written down, and I didn't want to lose them. So we started with her meatballs. And listen, I think sharing is caring. My mom's meatballs are actually on the New York Times cooking website. They're in my cookbook, along with all these other recipes from a whole bunch of women that I met with and got their family recipes that hadn't been written down. But yeah, it's really important. And I really encourage people, if you do have an older person in your life that you love and that's, made delicious food for you over the years, get them in the kitchen, learn how to make their dishes, because those are the dishes that are going to transport you to your childhood when, you're older.
Yeah. Yeah. When they're gone, right? I mean, that's just so huge.
Yeah.
When viewers watch Instant Italian, they're seeing recipes inspired by Calabria. But if Calabria isn't a place on a map and it's an emotion, what does Calabria feel like to you, Chef?
That's such a beautiful question. So I was actually born there. My mom is an Italian immigrant. My dad he's an Italian American, born and raised in the US. And he met my mom while traveling in Italy, and they got married and they had me there. The intention was to stay. Things changed. They decided to move back to the States. So at 1 year old, I was already here. But my mother's family is all still in Calabria. So even though I only lived there for one short year of my life, I don't even remember, obviously that part of my life. Going back to Calabria is, in a way, it's like coming home. It's very nostalgic for me. I love being with my Italian family. I love the food of Italy. I love being in Calabria because, it's very rural. It's not like Florence and Rome, but it's where I'm from. It's where my roots are.
You combined journalism, storytelling, public speaking, and cooking all into this one career. And I think it's so exciting. Looking back, do you think you left journalism, or did you just simply change mediums and just start telling stories with olive oil instead of a microphone?
Yeah, it's really true. So for journalism, just to be clear, I was never a journalist. But I totally get what you're saying. I went to college, I double majored in psychology and journalism. And I did think like that was maybe a career trajectory. And then life happens and things go in a different route. And I did really love cooking. But what I did was I combined my loves of journalism, of telling a story with cooking. And so with Heirloom Kitchen, it was telling the stories of all these immigrant women that I cooked with. For Italian Snacking, my second cookbook, it was about teaching people about the food culture of Italy through journalistic writing. And now with my cookbook, my third cookbook, Instant Italian, that's coming out in March, and this television show, once again, I am storytelling through the lens of my recipes. So it's been pretty beautiful for me to be able to combine a whole bunch of different things that I love together and serve it to people.
Yeah, I love that. You put creative twists on traditional dishes. I'm thinking like tiramisu brownies, shrimp scampi meatballs. What's the most rebellious thing, chef, you've ever done to an Italian recipe?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if it's necessarily rebellion as to more like a necessity, because I cook these things over and over and over again. So after a while, you just kind of like your creative juices start flowing. And then the other really cool thing is because these classic Italian American dishes have been around for so long, you go out to eat and like a chef will take a new twist in a different direction. And you're like, damn, that was really cool. I want to do something like that. So I just like taking the classics, enjoying them at face value, but then also like maybe finding a way to make it a little bit easier. Maybe cutting out a step without losing the flavor. That's kind of where I enjoy going to that next level.
I love that. Most people kind of think success is getting the TV show, but then you get the TV show and then life keeps going, right? So season 2 is here. The books are successful. Your audience keeps growing. What's something you thought success would give you that maybe it didn't? And then what's an unexpected gift this success has gifted you instead?
Ooh, you got some really good questions here today. I think success is like a funny word, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no like universal measure for it, right? And I think, so I'm in my 40s now. I won't tell you which 40, but actually tomorrow's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. That's great. So am I. And not my birthday, but my 40s.
Yep. So I think the one thing that I've really learned in this decade of my life that I did not have in my 30s and 20s was you can't really sweat success because you reach the top of the mountain and all you do is look for the next mountain. And that's what I really did in my earlier life. It was like, okay, what's next? What's next? And the nice thing about your 40s is you start living more in your present success. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, like, I remember very early on wanting a cookbook and like, if I can only get a cookbook. And now, like I just said, in March, I'm going to have my third. Always wanting a TV show. And now I'm in my second season of my show. So I could be stressing my fourth cookbook or stressing a third season of the show. But instead, I'm just really reveling in what like what I've gotten, and why I got so lucky. And I don't even know how to have the things that I have right now. And for me, even just someone sending me an email, I saw your show and this is a recipe my grandmother used to make, and you made me think of my grandmother, and I had a tear in my eye, or someone sending me a message on Instagram like, I'm really scared to cook, but I tried this recipe of yours and it was so great and my kids loved it. And to me, like, those are all wins. I have 3 kids. They're all healthy and happy. That's the biggest success,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sorry, very long-winded.
No, I think what a thoughtful answer. I totally get what you're saying.
I think success is just something that maybe we don't have to worry so much about what it's going to look like, and just kind of enjoy, being on this earth and breathing in and out and being able to create. I think as a chef, I really feel like I am an artist in a way. And every day to be able to get up and create my art and create what I love to do, I feel really, really blessed. And even if I don't get another show, if I don't get another cookbook or whatever it might be, I'm really content right now.
I think what you're talking about is like learning that part of the destination is the journey, and to be like, wow, I'm enjoying this journey. I'm looking around. I'm taking all 5 senses in of the present. I think that's great. And I think you're right. It is something that kind of comes a little bit later in maturity. You don't quite understand that in your 30s, certainly not your 20s. I love that. You once said the kitchen is your happy place. I think a lot of us get that. What is something about a kitchen? It's so interesting that like heals people. Like, why do so many of our biggest conversations happen standing around a stove, even more than a living room sometimes?
Oh, that's another good one. I think there's something very vulnerable about feeling hungry, needing to be fed, feeding someone. It just creates a different vulnerability. Even when you're in the living room, you're watching TV, you're on your device, you're in your own world. But when you're at the stove, you're cooking for someone. You're making something. So, if you think about it, a lot of chefs, if you're in a restaurant, they're not even hungry. They're cooking and they're not hungry. They're cooking to feed and sustain someone else. And I think that that's really sacred. And I think that's why the kitchen creates just a little world within itself where you're either asking for food and you're coming at a vulnerable place of feeling hungry and needing someone to nourish you, or you're doing the nourishing. And I think that's what creates that bond.
Give us one little kitchen trick, chef, that almost feels like cheating, but instantly makes every home cook better.
Pasta water. Every time you're making pasta, while the pasta's boiling, take a ladle and get some of that into a measuring cup before you drain the pasta. Drain the pasta, you put in the sauce, and you add a couple drizzles of that pasta water. It transforms the sauce. It makes it more glossy. If it's too thick, it makes it nice and thin. If it's too thin, it'll make it creamier. It's free, man. The pasta just makes it.
Yeah, I love that. It feels like there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of dogma in Italian cooking. What's one thing that everyone thinks they're supposed to do or not supposed to do that you're just like, no, forget all these rules, or do these rules and holding to them, do they really, maybe there's a point to all this, right?
Listen, cooking is a trade. Like whenever someone tells me that they can't cook, I said, that's simply not true. As long as you have 2 arms that work, although there are even chefs with 1 arm, I know of an amazing chef with 1 arm, but as long as you have the ability and tenacity to cook, you can. It's just like plumbing, right? Or being an electrician. Now, I can't do either of those things, but I didn't train for those things. If I went to plumbing school, I could learn how to be a plumber. If you want to cook, you can learn how to cook. There are rules. I mean, just to say, to get in the kitchen and start throwing things around, no, that's not going to work. Just like if you were fixing a leaky pipe, there's certain things you have to do in order for the pipe not to leak. But getting in the kitchen, committing the time, buying a nice pan, getting, a mixing spoon. Once you have some simple basics, you can have a lot of fun. And also start with something simple, like a pasta toss, even a grilled cheese. I taught all my kids how to cook making a grilled cheese. Seems simple, but there's some rules. You can't have the heat up too high. You're going to burn the bread before the cheese melts. You got to put a little butter on the bread. Simple little things, but once you know them for life. You'll be able to make a grilled cheese in your sleep at some point.
So true. So good. I always love asking chefs this. And I've heard everything from like a $200 pepper grinder to a really good spatula. What is that one tool that just it's always in your left or right hand? You're always reaching for it. It's just so incredibly important to what you're doing in the kitchen, no matter what it is.
All right, I'll give you two things.
Love it.
First of all, you never have to buy something that's $200. Like if you're going to spend $200 on something, get a nice pot and pan set. Like
it was a pepper grinder, by the way, too. I mean, it was the craziest thing I ever thought. And it was I forgot who it was. It was the English girl who does the potatoes, that viral girl. But she's got this pepper grinder. It's like, I don't know, but it's so funny how there's always something.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and you got to do you. And if that makes her happy, and if she felt like that made her a better chef, all for it. Right. What I'm going to tell you is two very simple things. Because I want people to get in the kitchen that have never been in the kitchen before. I'm going to tell you one, which is a fish spatula, not a regular spatula, a fish spatula. Reason being, a fish spatula, the very end of the spatula has a little bit of a bent tip. And what that does, and I've noticed it with my kids, it makes flipping things a lot easier. If you're not a chef that's been flipping things for years. Mm-hmm. So when I make pancakes, I use my fish spatula. When I'm, making anything that requires a flip and maybe it's a little bit delicate and maybe I don't have that confidence, a fish spatula is going to save you every time. That's number one. Number two is a whole bunch of ice cream scoops. I don't just use them for ice cream or making cookies. For example, when I'm making meatballs, if you use an ice cream scoop to scoop out your meatballs, every single one of those meatballs is going to be the exact same size and cook at the exact same rate. So I love an ice cream scoop.
It's a great hacks. I love that. What's the most underrated thing in the pantry, chef? That ingredient that quietly makes everything better?
Tomato paste. It's going to thicken up your sauce. I have this recipe. It's my perfect penne alla vodka. Doesn't even use tomato sauce. It uses a squirt of tomato paste. Lasts forever. I always get the tube because then I don't have to deal with only using half a can. Like I said, lasts forever in the pantry. Once you open it, put it in the fridge, lasts forever in the fridge. And it just adds a depth of flavor very quickly because it's concentrated tomato.
Let's do some rapid fire questions. Calabria or New York City?
Oh, shoot. They do very different things for me.
Yeah.
New York City Calabria was my first home. New York City is my second home. After high school, I went straight to NYU and I never looked back. I loved living in New York City. I feel like it's a big part of my childhood and my formative years. And there is nothing like Manhattan. I think it is the capital of the world. Calabria for me is respite. It's home, it's the roots, and it provides a solace.
Espresso or sleep?
Oh, sleep. I'm a bad Italian. I don't drink espresso. I'm way too high strung.
Yeah.
I can only do cappuccino. I need a little milk in there.
Most used app in your phone besides things like Instagram and stuff like that?
Other than Instagram, the most used app on my phone. Honestly, it's probably the New York Times cooking app. I work for them, so I have a whole bunch of recipes. If you're on New York Times Cooking, you can find a whole bunch of my Italian stuff. But I just find a lot of really great recipes there.
Chef, dish you make when nobody's watching?
I I don't know. Like a dish like I'm kind of like embarrassed that I love to eat.
Or maybe it's just something that it's just so simple and easy. You just do it at home. It's fun. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll say this. I spend a lot of time in my house by myself, especially during the day. My kids go off to school. My husband goes off to work. And I just love making myself, and this is really boring, but it's kind of just who I am. Like I love making an egg white frittata with a little spinach, little cheese, and some sourdough toast. Takes 5 minutes, but I love it.
Sounds so good. What's harder, writing a cookbook or parenting 3 kids?
I would say parenting 3 kids.
What's the
I have
first
2
thing?
girls and a boy. I love them, but yeah, I mean, I love every second of it, but kids are work, man.
What's the first thing you thought of after hearing season 2 is greenlit?
Just a lot of excitement and like, what am I going to cook next?
I love that. I love it. Well, I can't wait for the book. We got to have you on again coming up early next year when this book is coming out. Are you all done with it yet or what?
Yeah, I finished it. The pages are in. The manuscript's done. It's going off to be printed. It's called Instant Italian, just like the show, because, you know, we had a lot after season 1. People wanted the recipes. So it's like, all right, you ask, I will provide.
You know, food disappears. And the funny thing about it, it's like you spend hours making something beautiful. 20 minutes later, it's gone. After all the recipes, the books, the TV shows, meals you've shared with the world, what do you kind of hope remains long after the last bite from someone who is appreciating your work?
How it made them feel. You might not remember the dish. You might not even remember that I cooked it for you or that I gave you that recipe, but I hope you remember how it made you feel, because I think that's what food really does.
Yeah.
And it transports you to, you know, your grandmother's not here anymore, but every Christmas you make her cookies and you think of your grandmother, or, you know, you went to a restaurant and your husband proposed to you, and every time you eat a dish that was from that restaurant, you think about your engagement, things like that.
Yeah. Today marks 3 weeks that we lost my dad. And I'm thinking of like his Spanish rice or you know what I mean? Like all those little things, just ways that you can like connect with them. I think you might have used the word portal somewhere in this conversation, but like, that's exactly it. Like, that's exactly it. I loved our first conversation. I knew I would just love this one even more. I just can't thank you enough, Chef. And you know, I would wish you luck on season 2, but that's not fair to people who need it. So I just can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you so much. This interview was my favorite. Thank you for such great questions.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Chef Anna Francese Gass, what a joy. Thank you for the chat, the laughs, the stories. You want to learn more about Anna, find her recipes, follow along with everything she's into. We got links to her website, her Instagram, and hopefully she comes back when that new cookbook comes out in, what'd you say, March? We got some time, but I'm excited for her. Really excited for her. Check out the new season of Instant Italian. All right, let's talk Italian. I'm gonna tell you about my boy Benny's. Benny's Pizza in the house. You know, there are spots. There are pizza spots that feel good. Then there are pizza spots that feel like a story is unfolding and you're a part of the cast. That's what you get with Benny's Pizza, especially in that back area of the bar. It's just a really cool vibe. But where you know Benny's, it's like that Detroit style, that thick ass, crispy, pan fried crust. I don't care where you take your sauce on top or bottom, flavor in every single bite. With happy hour going on there now, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. It is your go-to hang. $3.50 domestic cans, $2 off premium beer and wine. Also food specials that really hit the spot. And for a Father's Day weekend, that patio was just popping. And get in there for lunch too. You can get in and out back to work in 35, 40 minutes, feeling good. Big ass slice of pizza, you probably take some of it home. And then maybe a salad, a Coke. Back at work, baby. Upper Monterey Street, 1601 Monterey, San Luis Obispo. You can call them up, order up, 439-3838. Benny's Pizza. It's not just where you eat, it's where you land. All right, let me also tell you about how you can park for free downtown SLO. Yeah, you just go to slowfreeparking.com. You can learn any and all things about it. But if you park in that new Cultural Arts District parking structure, yeah, that new structure on Napomo and Palm, and then head into my friends at La Esquina, Mama's Meatball, Mistura, any of those 3 spots, they will validate your parking for free. That's right. Free downtown parking in SLO. Park, eat, validate, done. Check out slowfreeparking.com, learn more, and head into one of my favorite spots, La Esquina, Mama's Meatball, Mistura, and park for free. All right. Fun Monday. Getting warmer. This week, temps on the rise. San Luis Obispo is going to see kind of like, mid to upper 70s, and it'll kind of crest in the middle of the week and then kind of cool back down a little. But it's going to get warm, especially if you're in the North County, it's going to get wild. We're talking temps in the mid to upper 90s by midweek. It's even going to be warm today. I think like 89, the high in Paso today. So these temps will stay relatively mild if you're inland and below the Cuesta grade. So places like San Luis Obispo, and we might see like 78, 79 by Wednesday, but we're going to be cooling back down. Temps, again, upper North County, upper 90s by midweek. So yeah, we are creeping up, and then we're going to cool it back down for the week. I want to thank you so much for spending time connecting with you, especially in these last couple of weeks where maybe a show we'll miss here or there as we, grieve the loss of my dad and kind of take care of some things. I do just thank you so much for the nice gestures and people. I got texts yesterday because it was Father's Day. Yeah, Father's Day was pretty brutal. First one, never easy. Well, I say never easy like I've done this before, but I remember from Mother's Day, obviously not a fun day when, and then there's like, you think about the different people on Mother's Day and Father's Day specifically because it was yesterday, but just like, maybe you don't talk to your dad. Maybe your dad's around, but there's so many different issues that people can potentially have with their parents and can have with their kids. So there's a lot of people on these days, Mother's Day, Father's Day, that just feel left out or left high and dry. And, mine for my own reason yesterday, after just losing dad, today's 3 weeks. But, I would just hope that we can have a lot of grace for different folks on those days, because, us sitting here listening to this, we all have a mother and a father at some point, right? I mean, we got here. That's kind of my point. And then, maybe you have a kid yourself, and there could be issues there. So whoever is listening to this, and if there's any kind of issues with that, just know that, we're thinking of you and you're loved. And I hope that your Father's Day was everything that you absolutely, deserved it to be. So I just know those days can be tough. And yesterday certainly was. But I want to thank you for connecting here and all the nice condolences or the nice things that people have been saying, and the way that, hey, I'm thinking of you. Like, it's just so sweet. It's just so sweet. So also want to thank our friends Moonshiner Collective. They give us original music on the show every day. It's called Start Again. You can hear them wherever you stream your music. Also learn more, moonshinercollective.com. This show, Up+Adam, and all my shows, got a brand new episode of Where Wine Takes You. Check that out. It's a good one too. It is a great chat. Check out the brand new episode of Where Wine Takes You. Also, The Pour. We're going to be doing a new episode of The Pour this week. With everything going on, it's been a little tough, but the most recent episode is us, me, Jordan Fiorentini from Epic, also Nita from LXV, talking about our trip to the Danube next year. So make sure you know all about that, because I would love to see you on board with us. And I understand the last week or so, we've sold we're about 3 or 4 cabins up. So the boat is about half full. We're not even going till next year. Our boat is already half full. Pretty cool. So we are recorded here at Slow Cal Studios. This show, it's in the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California. Slow Cal, where the wine is world class, the people are real, and life is too beautiful to rush. For turns well taken, visit slowcal.com. That's SLOCAL, slowcal.com. Well, till tomorrow, have a great day. I'm Adam Montiel, and thanks again for being Up+Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.